Alright, so I completed Hytale, at least for the most part. What I mean by completed is I have the best armor currently that you can obtain, um, a base location, and I've seen all the items, I've seen all the enemies, and I just kind of want to give my opinion on the game so far. Now, personally, I think if you are a builder or you like the sandbox aspect of this game, then I think it would be a good purchase. But if you're here more for the combat in the RPG side of this game, I personally think you should wait. There's currently not enough enemies or really items for you to obtain for it to be kind of worth your time. Currently, all you can get up to is adamantite. You can obtain mithril, but you cannot get storm leather, at least from my knowledge. I have not seen anyone get storm leather. Now, I do find it weird that it was left in this if you can't get it, so possibly there is a way. But like I said, I haven't seen anyone get it yet. I haven't seen an enemy or anything in the game that would lead me to think that you can get it. I've explored a lot of this map. I've explored all of the locations, all of the stages. I don't see a way or an enemy or anything that would give you storm leather. So combat wise, I do think the game is heading in the right direction, but I would like to see a perfect block implemented because currently if you're fighting multiple enemies and you need to block a lot, you are going to run out of stamina. Whereas I think if they added a perfect block mechanic, it would be rewarding to have it in game, where if you perfect blocked, maybe you get some stamina back, or maybe the block doesn't cost stamina. Something along those lines, because currently, right now, the blocking just feels super unrewarding. Now, until I mess around with PvP, I don't see a real reason to get too into the combat right now, against mobs at least. You can just strafe and basically outrange a lot of the mobs, especially with the mace. Now, I do like the directional swinging that they currently implemented with the mace, and I think the Warhammer also has it. However, I'd like maybe be able to bind it or control it with your mouse somehow. Sort of like Chivalry or Mordhau, because I think that would add a lot of depth to this game's combat. Now, I'm assuming that's what they're planning on doing. This is just a very early rendition of it. Now, there is currently no boss that you can actually fight in this game. The biggest enemy that I know of that you can really fight, large skeleton enemy. There's a couple of void enemies that are large, but that's about it. So difficulty-wise, this game really isn't very difficult at all. I have died a handful of times, but most of that was to either the horrendous frog enemy, that if you have played this game, you will know how terrible and awful the enemy is, and I hope they change it. And I have died quite a few times to fall damage, which is a skill issue. But as you can see, I have since put a water bucket in my inventory. Now for World Gen, which is a pretty important topic for this game, I think currently it's in a very good state. However, structure-wise, there's only a few dungeons, there's only a few structures that you can loot. Technically, you can kind of skip the ore progression and just go loot chests and get ore out of it. However, you will be soft-locked by the fact that you need to go get so much hide, it's absurd. I mentioned in my other video beforehand, and I still stand on this. Currently, in the state that it is, you need too much hide in this game. It's actually super unfun. Pretty much everything I've mentioned in this video is what you can do. The biggest, most extensive thing that you can currently do in this game is building in the creative mode. That's about it. Survival wise, there's just not that much going on right now. All you really have looking forward to is the ore progression and a little bit of exploring and some mob fighting. That's about it. Now, that's not to say I'm not excited for what's to come. We all knew that this game was going to be super early access. However, I was expecting at least a boss or a dimension, but It's just not the case, unfortunately. But yeah, if I missed anything that you're interested in, please leave a comment. But yeah, that's about it.